Well, hello everyone. Welcome into the worldwide headquarters of Road to Awesome, right here in beautiful, sunny, hot Omaha, Nebraska. I am so excited to have an opportunity to go live today with some incredible educators, and in particular with Melissa Wright, who has just released her newest book, Inspired, right here. Inspired Moments That Matter, a Road to Awesome production. We're so excited for Melissa. And I got to tell you, before I bring Melissa into the studio, I've known her for a number of years. She and I actually go back to attending the same conference well back into around 2011. We're both recognized with an award at the same conference in 2014. Did not meet each other at that conference, and yet, fortunately, the stars aligned and we had an opportunity to connect a number of years ago. Melissa is somebody I really look up to, somebody I really think the world of. I'm excited for her, for this book, for all the great things she has coming on this summer. So with that, this is Melissa's event. I'm just happy to be here and be a part of it and to help sponsor it. So let's get Melissa right here into the studio. Melissa, how are you? Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this today.
Oh, thanks so much, Darrin. Appreciate you. And, we're doing well. A little breezy up here on the East Coast of Canada today, but I'm sure that summer weather is coming. If not, I will get a dose of that next week in Orlando for sure. So happy today. As you said, the book is out, Inspired Moments That Matter, available on Amazon, both .ca and .com. So if you haven't picked it up yet, make sure that you do. So this is so exciting, and we want to kick things off with this launch by doing a little giveaway. So we're going to get some people to comment in the comments. So how you're going to enter to win a copy of the book is comment with someone or something or some place that inspires you and tell us about it. Because that's part of a lot of my book is, the different things and those moments that have provided me with inspiration throughout my journey as an educator. So I want to hear from some of you, and I know we've all had those moments in our lives, whether you're an educator or not, and you're tuning in. We all have those people or those places that inspire us. And I'll just tell a little story here, but first shout out to Kip. Hey Kip, how's it going? Good to see you on here today. One of my inspired stories actually just happened. It was quite coincidental last Friday, I guess it was. One of the places that provides me with the most inspiration, if anybody knows New Brunswick at all, is a little seaside town called St. Andrews by the Sea. And I talk about it in the book briefly. But as I was walking, my kids and I, we always go, we have a little tradition that we do. We take and go to a celebration tea. Oh, Corey, nice to see you have a place too. I'd love to hear the reason that it's your inspiration. But we're down there because we always do an end of year, school year celebration tea. And afterwards we went down to the front street because it's beautiful. You can see the ocean. And as we are walking the front street, I get a text from Darrin that says, your book is live on Amazon. And I said, wow, how fitting is that I'm in one of the places that inspires me the most, and my book went live. So just, those different moments that matter. And I will never forget where I was standing on that front street when I got that text from Darrin. That spot will always be a special spot to me. Darrin, do you have a place or someone that inspires you?
Oh, I think so. I mean, it's interesting. I think about a number of places, but I will tell you just, specifically for a location, you know what? I was going to go with Lake Maria in Wyoming. I'm going to go to a different place, and another place that I think that when we connect it to being a writer and to really, just sitting down and crushing out a book. I go back to a place. So my in-laws, Dean and Carla Finkenbinder, they live in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And as I was finishing my doctorate, of course, the last step is you've got to write that dissertation, which is, it's a daunting task. And they have in there, we call it the adult living room because the dogs aren't allowed in there. And just the most amazing fireplace and incredible, comfortable recliners. And I sat in one of those recliners over the course of about a week and a half over Christmas break many years ago and absolutely blasted out that dissertation right in that space. So lots of places and people that inspire me, but in the moment, what I'm thinking about is just sitting in that space and writing. And I did actually write some of my book, Road Dawson, in that same space. So, yeah, absolutely. So we have a couple people who are starting to chime in a little bit here, which is great. We have some of our educational rock stars waiting backstage to come on and talk about Melissa's book. So folks, keep commenting, keep sharing. We'll have Melissa choose the winner of the copy of the book here towards the end. But I believe we are going to welcome into the studio right now somebody who I really don't feel like needs an introduction. America's cynic, the most amazing 1.0 to 2.0 transformation of any human being on the planet, Mr. Tom Cody. Hello, Tom.
I'd kind of like an introduction. No, I'm kidding.
That's what you just got.
How's it going, man? Hey, congrats, Melissa.
Thanks, Tom. So glad to have you part of this. Appreciate you so much. Yeah. No, I just thought I'd have you on, and maybe you could talk a little bit about, your takeaway from the book, and perhaps, give us someone or some place that inspires you as well.
Well, first for me, it's one of three parks: Central Park, Fenway Park, or Wrigley Field. It's baseball, but I really like Central Park in New York. I was thinking of the moments I've had there. In Minnesota, it's humid and rotten today, but every now and then we get a Canadian high, it's called. And it comes down right out of Alberta, and it's just beautiful in Minnesota. Melissa, when I read your deal, we just got a little breath of fresh air from north of the border. What struck me is, you talk about moments, and I taught for 40 years, 10,000 decisions a day for 40 years. And a lot of those moments with me weren't prideful moments with kids, but a lot of them were, and it just reminds us as I'm reading your stuff about those little things and how every little thing matters. Joe Sanfilippo talks about you don't know which moment is going to matter to a kid. And remember, this is all about the end user. This is not about Melissa or Tom or Renaissance adults or whatever. There's some 17-year-old in New Brunswick that's going to benefit from all this. And hopefully this book gets in the hands of a guy in Colorado, and then it's a 14-year-old middle school kid that benefits. Last thought, I think this is about influence today. It's powerful how much influence you have, Melissa, with your students and with the people that are going to read this book. Influence is defined by the capacity to change the character, development, and behavior of another person. And I just want to say hats off to you, because I think you're going to affect people in positive ways. And it's never, ever been needed more than the sickness, which is American culture right now. And I can't speak for New Brunswick, but we're really screwed up down here educationally. So if we can get this book in the hands of others, pretty cool. And finally, Melissa, I just want to thank you for showing up. You show up at everything. We've been meeting for 2 years on this Jostens deal, and we blogs at 10 at night, and it's 3 in the morning where you are. And I know you don't. I know you're one of those people that has never got a sub in your life at school. You show up, and that's 99% of the battle for a teacher is just showing up. So those are my random thoughts.
No, Tom, I appreciate you and your perspective, because as a fellow math educator, I would love to have you in my classroom someday. Right? I'm
coming someday. Oh yeah.
And to teach a lesson with you would just be an honor, with a U, by the way, honor with a U.
I want Trig Identities. I'm putting in a plug for Trig Identities.
Perfect.
The left side equals the right side, which
I have a worksheet all set up that says my name is blank and I love Trig Identities. So
that's me.
That's
baby.
our worksheet for the day.
Nerd Fest. When Melissa and I meet next week, it'll be Nerd Fest.
That's right.
Yeah.
But Tom,
I'm going to make sure. when I see both of you starting on Sunday for a handful of days at the Renaissance Global Conference that I don't get in between the two of you when you are talking math. I'm just going to say, when I see the two of you together, I was told there will be no math. That's what I'm going to say, whether it's true or not.
Thank you, Billy Madison.
We'll slip it in there somewhere, I'm sure.
There you go.
But no,
right.
Tom, thank you so much for your words and for being a part of my book. I appreciate you and the inspiration that you provide me, and the amount that I learn from you every time I get to see you on Zoom, but I really can't wait to see you in person next week and give you a big hug.
You got it.
Awesome.
See you there.
Hang around, Tom. We'll bring everybody back out at the end. So
Yeah.
hang on backstage. I get the honor and the privilege truly to speak with Tom around the country. And just a couple of weeks ago, we spoke together in Colorado, which meant I got to spend a couple hours with him in each direction from the airport in the car, and of course then a whole day with him. And I joke about it and say, "Oh my gosh, this is my life." That I put up with Tom, but I don't put up with Tom. I learn from Tom, and I'm inspired by Tom, and I really greatly appreciate him. And I really greatly appreciate and am so unbelievably inspired by the next person. So why don't you go ahead and introduce our next guest, and we will bring her up onto the stage.
Yes, I'm so excited to have Jillian Waugh here. I met her a little over a year ago, I think it was, in the UUP on the RtA coaching. And sometimes there's just people that come into your life for a reason. And Jillian is just always a ray of sunshine and finds the joy and everything. And that, I believe, is now the name of her company, Imparted Joy. And I'm so happy that you're here with us tonight, Jillian. Thank you so much for being a part of this.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I do. I remember that was last summer, I think.
Yeah.
And we made the vision boards and look at you. So your vision board, took off. So that's exciting. So I'm so excited for you. I mean, this is just, there is nothing like getting your message out into the universe. And whether it's one person that hears it or thousands, it is just something that's special because it just came from your heart. So, and I know when I read it, I was like, this is you. This is all you, your words. You have such an influence of impact, Melissa. And it's not anything that anybody's going to take lightly. I love the way you just wove everything together so strategically in these chapters, but it was all so delicate and from your own experience with such hope and compassion. So, one of the things that really struck me is you really kind of helped us as the reader. And if you guys haven't read it yet, you need to. But there were steps to identify how we can move alongside with our students and help them to be curious and thoughtful, but just mainly just to listen and learn from them, to love them, to accept them, to stand with them. And I love how you had mentioned that being a good leader is not out of anybody's reach. And we all are so worthy of being a good leader. We just have to believe in ourselves. We have to understand that building authentic relationships is key to any healthy culture, whether it's in a school classroom or, in another work environment or even our homes. But we have to promote that trust and for accountable learning. So intentional inspiration is definitely a discipline that we need to promote and share. And I'm just super excited that you've shown us how to do that.
Oh, thank you so much for your kind words. And we will share that cup of inspiration tea at some point in person together. I have no doubt. But before, we're asking everybody to comment for a chance to win a copy of my book, what inspires them or who or a place. So what is something or someone that inspires you?
Well, I'm going to go way, way back because the whole reason I became an educator was because of my fourth grade teacher. And I know we can all probably name somebody in our life who helped us along that journey, but she never knew that. And I have no idea how to get in touch with her, but her name was Nancy Hanko. And she was my fourth grade teacher. And she was cool before cool was a thing because she gave us voice and choice. And that was dating myself, but it was in the late 70s. And we definitely were still in that authoritative type mentality and model of schooling. But I remember she had a clawfoot bathtub in her classroom and she filled it with pillows. And that was a reading spot. And there were some of us that just loved to go in the clawfoot tub in a classroom, right, and read. And that's sort of set the stage for me as an educator to help my kids understand, wherever you can learn and wherever you feel comfortable and wherever is going to be the best environment and fit for you, that's where you need to go. If you don't want to sit at your desk, that's fine. If you want to sit under my desk, that's fine. I'll grab you a pillow from my house and bring it to you if it's going to make you feel more comfortable. So, I always just go back to her and I think, golly, I mean, knowing that it is okay to make those choices and to do what we need to do to honor our students and to help them to build that trust and respect that we can, have together in our culture.
Yeah. And it's a lot of times those early educators, that we all have that teacher that has stuck with us that we remember. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. And thanks for being here.
Yeah, sure. This is fun.
That's just great to see you. I haven't had a chance to see you in quite some time. So wonderful to have you on here, my friend.
Yeah, thanks. I'm part of the RtA family. So welcome. We're all one big happy family.
That's right.
That's right. That we are. Well, hang out, Jillian. We're going to bring you back in here at the end in just a little bit. So we'll let you hang out backstage. So, all right. So halfway home here, we've got two more educators. Hopefully, we've got one more who hasn't quite made it backstage, but he is the closing act. So I'm confident he will be here. But next up, I'm going to take this introduction if you don't mind, because this is somebody that I've known for a super long time, and actually met him on New Teacher Day. For those who don't know this story, New Teacher Day in Kingman, Arizona in the fall of 1995. Yes, that dates me just a little bit, but it also dates him, so I'm okay with that. We were both sitting in the same room. Let's just say he decided to make a point of the fact that his Iowa Hawkeyes had beat my Wyoming Cowboys like 6 years prior in a bowl game. Made a comment about my Pokes, and I thought, I'm going to hate this guy. And to this day, 27 years later, one of my best friends on the planet. So, and Jocelyn's Renaissance Educator of the Year for 2022, going to be recognized next week at the Jocelyn's Renaissance Global Conference. So let's get my boy Eric Lillis in here, and look at this. He looks like Mike Ditka. What are you doing?
Are we not in Orlando right now? What's going on?
I wish we were.
Where am I?
Yeah, I know.
You look like you're ready to be there.
Sure.
Oh, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm already there, you guys. I'm already there. As you can tell by the shirt that I have on today, I am already there. So this is so cool. Seriously, this is so cool. And if I got to hear that story about, the day that Darrin and I met again, we got to mix it up a little bit, bro. That's like
never going to let it go.
And it's funny that you mentioned that, because Melissa, we've only known each other for like 2 years and never met in person.
Yeah, that's right.
Because of this silliness that's been going on the last 2.5 years. And I feel like I've known you as long as Darrin.
Yeah. Feels like it's been forever.
Seriously, because just getting to know you just online and reading your book, I feel like I've known you for 25 years. Because that's the feeling that I get when I read your book is I feel like that you've been my friend forever. And that was awesome. And I'm sitting there reading that piece. Is this the right time to talk about the book? Am I doing this right? I've never done this before.
Yeah,
Sweet.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm reading that piece about your mom, and my mom. I lost my mom in the past couple of years too, and she was a huge inspiration for me as well. And that just, man, Sam, my wife Sam, and you'll meet Sam next week. She's coming with. She looked at me. She's like, Eric, what's going on? She's like, what are you reading? Why do you look like this? She goes, it's talking about my mom, and when you talk about your mom, I thought of my mom, and I'm like, reading that book made me want to just be your friend forever. And that's kind of what I hope everybody else is going to be inspired by too, to steal the title of the book. When they read it too, they're going to feel like that they know you, that they know someone similar to you in their lives. Oh my gosh, that's so-and-so. That's what Melissa just told us about, that she just described. So, I mean, it was so cool. Number one, that you asked me to comment in your book to begin with, and so cool. And I feel so honored just to be able to have read it and felt like, man, this is my sister, that wrote this book. That's kind of how I felt. And you're so good for kids, Melissa. And when you're ready to move to Arizona, you holler, and I will open a position for you. I will make a position for you at Kingman Academy. It was 106 yesterday. It's 103 today. Yuck. And my air conditioning is broke, so I'm keeping my arms down so you guys can't see my pits. But it has been, seriously. You laugh, but it's not that funny because it's 85 degrees in my office right now. But yeah, this is so cool. I mean, I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. And I'm waiting to get my copy at JREN because somebody's going to sign it for me.
Oh, 100%. And I have stickers too.
It'll go right on this thing right here. See, I already made room for it. It's going to go right there.
Nice.
It's going to go right there. Yeah.
But no, like, Eric, I appreciate you so much. And like, same thing. I feel like I've known you my whole career. Like, you're a dear friend to me, and I can't wait to give you a big hug next week in person, finally meet you and the rest of the Kingman Academy team. And seriously, I would love to be in 106 degrees because I grew up on the wrong coast. However, our superintendent is retiring if you're looking to get out of the cold to come here.
Sam's a desert girl, so I doubt that's going to happen.
I don't blame her one bit.
No, moving. I would love it, but Sam would probably not go for that.
Yeah.
It's funny with the big hug thing because I just was texting with Michelle Carney Ray a little bit ago, and she says she can't wait to see everybody. And she's going to be like a Rottweiler puppy, and is going to be hugging and I came back with a golden retriever, and Darrin's met my golden retriever. So that's kind of how I'm going to be too. So some people may have to fight me off when I see him at JREN next week. So yeah.
Now, before we let you go, Eric, do you want to share, because the people that are watching, make sure you comment with someone or someplace or something that inspires you. Do you want to share one of those things that inspires you?
You know what? There's so many things. And the first thing that popped in my head is just a place. And I grew up in a little town in Iowa called Keokuk. And we're going to have a spelling contest later on who spells that correctly. But it's on the Mississippi River, and it overlooks the Mississippi River. It sits on a bluff. And I used to ride my bike to the top of the bluff that overlooked dam. And I don't know if you guys know what a lock is, but it's when you lock barges through. You have to raise the water, lower the water, and then they lock through. They have to open the bridge, and the barge continues down the river. And I used to sit there and read and write and actually do my homework. And I could see that happening. And like that inspired me. That whole scene of the Mississippi River, all that going on was so inspirational for me that, I was growing up, that's the first thing that I thought of. I can't really narrow it down to certain people that have inspired me because there's so many. The two people shared with the screen right now both inspire me, obviously. But Melissa a little bit more than Darrin, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I mean,
it's time for you to go. We've got Frank ready backstage.
If you ever get a chance to go to Keokuk, Iowa, go up on the bluff and watch the river. Just watch the river. I mean, it is so cool and so beautiful. And it's what I miss the most about my home state. But yeah, everything Iowa Hawkeyes, yes.
No, that's perfect. Thank you so much for being here, Eric. And
my pleasure. Thank you for asking me
to stick around afterwards to bring everybody back at the end. So thank you.
Awesome. So we've got one remaining person backstage, and I'll let you introduce Frank. Yeah.
So Frank Rudnesky, I believe we connected, and Frank can correct me if I'm wrong, back in 2018. And I was reading his book, 50 Great Things Leaders Do. And I believe I put a message or a post on Instagram, and he messaged me right away. And we have been connected ever since. If you have never had the opportunity to connect and learn from Frank, you need to. Like, Frank has had the hugest impact on my leadership. And I would not be the leader I am today without him. And he has had the opportunity to come to New Brunswick and chat to our students at the New Brunswick Student Leadership Conference. And that was right before, that was our last New Brunswick Student Leadership Conference in person. And I'm so glad that we had him. So yeah, without further ado, Frank, I am so thankful for you and for being here.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right, perfect.
We
Hey,
got you,
thank you
man.
for those kind words. That was nice of you to put it out there like that. I appreciate you equally as much. And yeah, we did. I think you told the story perfectly as far as, uh, wow, is anybody reading this book? Well, yeah, there you are. You were reading it. And it was funny because I just happened to be there, I think, within a couple minutes of when you posted about the 50 Great Things Leaders Do. And it's, for those of you that haven't read it, which is probably everyone listening, except for the two people on the screen.
It's a
It's a
great book. I
compilation
love it.
of my experiences with people that I've met during my teaching career, all the way back to the late '80s when I started teaching, and all the way up until now. So thank you for that. And yeah, we've had the opportunity to actually meet in person, and it was some great experiences. Right before 2019, we met at the Johnson's Renaissance Conference, and then that fall went to New Brunswick, which was really super cool. It's one of the best student leadership conferences that I've been to, if not the best. It's so well run by you and your colleagues that do that, and you guys treated me like I was a super cool person. So I really felt the love when I was up there, and a lot of the students that I met there are still in contact with me because of social media. So that gives us something, that gap that's been in between. We've still been able to maintain because, again, because of who you are, Melissa, and what you bring to all of us out there in the world. And another thing I appreciate is that you gave me those extra letters for a lot of words that you and honor and some of those other words. So when I place Scrabble with my kids, I always get those extra points. So I appreciate that as well. And if I was going to describe Melissa, I think I tried my best to do it in the forward, but you're just someone that when you connect with, and I often tell people that I meet for the first time that like-minded people find each other, and I felt that even in our early conversations on social media that we connected because we are like-minded, and that's how we continue to grow and put out those words of wisdom and love and peace and inspire and passion, which you talk so eloquently about in your book and in person. So that is, I so thrilled to see this come to fruition after a couple of years. I remember how we talked, and I kept asking you, "Hey, how's the book coming? How's this book coming?" This is before, maybe I wouldn't say before you met Darrin, but it was before, Darrin put it out there that we were. I kept telling you, you got to write your stories down. You really do, and look, finally, you did it, and here we are. So I'm honored and humbled and proud to know you, and I think that as we continue to grow, you are going to be a big piece of what's going on with climate and culture and leadership. So, all right, that's the answer to the first question. Next.
Next question is share something or a place or someone that inspires you.
Oh, geez. Well, I think I just didn't told you about the New Brunswick trip that inspired me, and I can't wait to get back up there because it's really a cool place, and it's so I don't know if you've never been up there. It's cold. I think what for 11 and a half months out of the year.
Not quite. We get
Hurry up! Here
maybe.
comes. Hey, the pool cover's coming off, but hurry up because it's coming back on in a couple of weeks. But it was I don't know how to explain the people there are just so nice. I guess that's a word to put it. It's some places you go and like a lot of places in New Jersey where you got to sprint across the street and when you're in a crosswalk or you get hit. But in New Brunswick, they actually wait for you to cross the street when you're in the crosswalk. So I often think of that trip for a number of reasons. But that was so inspiring, and people people that I've met during the pandemic online that I haven't yet met in person continue to inspire me. Are there any more questions? Because I have a quick story.
No, that's it. That's all the questions.
Oh,
If
Frank's got a story, we want to hear the story. Let's go.
I often get asked, what do you tell people? What do you say to someone that they just hit that wall and they can't keep going anymore? And I often think of, the relationships that we built, the pre-pandemic and pandemic. But this is what I'm going to lay out there. Think of 5 things that make you happy. Now go spend your time there. And it sounds simple, but it really is just that simple sometimes. And there was a quote that I put on my social media the other day, and I'm just pulling it up here because I don't want to get it wrong. One of the things that we did during the pandemic, my family and I, is that we would watch shows together, and one of them was America's Got Talent. And during the pandemic, there was a lady. Her name, her stage name is Nightbird. And you really have to go on YouTube, type in Nightbird, AGT, to see her whole performance and how that played out. But she was dying of cancer, and we all know people that have either died of cancer or that have had cancer. And this is her exact quote: "You can't wait until life isn't hard anymore before you decide to be happy." And geez, man, everyone listening has hit a wall before, even pre-pandemic, and especially during the pandemic. But if we're waiting for things to happen, then geez, you're never going to reach that pinnacle of happiness. And maybe, it's a collection of moments. And those collection of moments turn into a movement. The movement of like-minded people that are inspired by people we've met, like Melissa Wright, that finally writes down her stories and pays it forward. And that's how it keeps going. It's exponential. And you will never hear about the number of people that you inspire. But if you hear just one story, then that's going to pay it forward. All right, another quick story. I got to tell it. I'm in New Brunswick, and telling the story of my former student, Julie, who you guys know. She's born with cerebral palsy. She's inspired me over and over and over and over and over again. And I tell her story, and afterwards, a lady comes up to me, a student, and she said, I just want to let you know, I don't know if you remember me from last night, but I was in front of you, and I dropped my plate, and you so graciously said to me, don't worry about it. I drop my plate all the time. And at the time, I didn't even know she had CP. But she said, you telling that story of Julie has inspired me to tell my story. And I said, hey, you know what? Let's call Julie up. And I literally called Julie up on the phone and handed the phone to her, and she spoke to Julie. So those stories that Melissa tells and that have connected all of us, priceless.
And I was so lucky to be able to be there to witness when you handed the phone to that student and the power that moment had for her. So yeah, so thankful that you were able to connect those dots for her.
And thank you for connecting the dots for all of us by telling your story, Melissa. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, I'm so thankful that all of you were here to celebrate tonight the launch of my book, and for being a part of it, and reading it beforehand, and Frank for writing the foreword. I just appreciate you all so much. And I think we're going to give away actually 2 books tonight, Darrin, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we have our 2 winners, Kip and Corey. Congratulations. You have each one.
I want to hear you pronounce Corey's last name, because I know how it's pronounced. So I want to hear you take a shot at it. I'm hoping that Corey is still listening too, because he's heard it all.
I don't even have any idea how to start to pronounce
I only
that.
tune in to see Melissa say a boot. That's the only reason I came on. And then Lillis, I thought I
that's-
might go for a worse shirt
Yeah.
tonight, but there's no chance I'm with you, buddy. All right, I got
Excellent
grandkids.
stuff. So,
I got grandkids. I got to sign out. Melissa, we'll see you in a week. Can't wait.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate you being here.
right on. So Kip Schubert and Corey Jeffco, 2 copies coming your way. You would not have guessed Jeffco, I guarantee it. But Corey and Kip will have those coming your way. In fact, what we'll do is, if you guys are okay waiting a little bit, I will have Melissa sign them at JRGC. There you go. That's awesome. So I will have Melissa sign both of those books at JRGC. Corey will have her sign that one to Micah. And then I will mail them to you here in the U.S. because it's a whole lot cheaper than Melissa mailing them from Canada. So we'll get those mailed off to you guys next week when we return from the Jocelyn's Renaissance Global Conference, when Melissa will be recognized as a Jocelyn's Renaissance Hall of Fame member. We're super excited for her. Melissa, congratulations. And guys, everybody, thank you for being here so much. Appreciate it. Melissa, congratulations. The book is absolutely brilliant. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful Road to Awesome evening.
Thank you.